All right. We're back live. Okay, we're going to do a couple other things in Safari.
Did you turn the recorder on?
Yes, thank you. It's already on. We're doing a couple other things in Safari, and then I'm going to show you quickly how the same thing applies in the iOS device, which applies to the iPad, iPod Touch, and iPhone. So, we did a Google search, we did tabs, we did all that, but we talked about making bookmarks. But when we go up to the bookmarks plus sign, there's another thing here called reading list. Now, again, we said that when you have a lot of bookmarks, you're reticent to do more bookmarks because they'll get lost with the hundreds of bookmarks you already have. So, when I go to reading list, as long as I have an iCloud account, so this is a Lion iCloud thing, I say add to reading list. Add it. So now it's in my reading list. So I can go navigate through the web, do whatever else I want. I can close this window. And all I have to do is come back here into my reading list, and I can have my reading list display all or just my unread ones. So I click on this, and that got me to that page. Let's say I'm on the Apple page. Takes a second to load, and if I click on this in my reading list, I'm there, and I'll hit the goggles again to get rid of it, and I'm on my reading list. Anything that's on my reading list. So if you're reading an article and you can't finish it, and you want to, hopefully I'm logged in. Hang on one sec here. Since this isn't my normal user, I just want to make sure. Criminy. Okay, hang on here. Bookmarks. I had to make sure I'm in my iCloud account to do this. So now, one second. Because I'm not on my normal account, this may not work, but I'll show you how it works in theory. Because here's my iPad. There's my iPad. And here's my reading list on my iPad. Now, it didn't propagate here yet because, again, I'm on a demo user, not my normal user, so it hasn't had a chance to sync that Apple Pie, but you can see I have a list of other things that have been done on reading list. So then I can delete them, I can add to them here on my iPad. And actually my connection's being a bit slow. Oh, now look at this now. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Only on your iPad?
Or my iPhone, or my iPod Touch. It'd sync anywhere you have the same iCloud account, reading list shows up. So again, the process was we went here and we added it to the reading list. Now see, now it's starting to sync because here's ones that weren't here a minute ago. A minute ago we had just the Apple Pie, right? But now these are, you notice how to delete archive attachment. How to delete archive attachment. This is my iPad you're seeing on the screen right here. See, it's my iPad. See, boom, rotate. Come on, rotate. It's a little delay because of our network here. But so it's completely synced across. So again, you add the bookmark to the reading list and it will be available on your other devices. Okay? Your bookmarks also sync, but reading list is really cool because when you go read something, you can tell it to just delete when you've read them. Question?
How long does it stay in the reading list?
Till you either delete it or till you read it. And if you have it all, it'll always be there. You can clear the page. You can simply highlight it and clear it and do whatever you want. You can manage it however you'd like.
I can check it out tomorrow.
Yes. And remember, propagates across all your devices. Okay, so now we did a search for apple pie. Hang on to that a second. I'm going to go back to one of our old pages, cnn.com. Nope, I'm going to do apple pie. Sorry, Sybil here. I just did a search for, I'm going to do a regular web search for apple pie. Okay. Now, that's a regular Google search, okay? The reason it's got this black bar at the top is because it's signed into my Gmail account. Forget that's there. But this is a regular web search. On the left-hand side, the second thing here is images, right? So instead of searching the web for apple pie, I'm saying, let's search for images of apple pie. And remember, this is Google. So here's a bunch of images, and I really like the fourth one there. It's a Mac Mini made into an apple pie. So pretty cool. But I'm going to go through and I'm going to say, look, this is a really nice apple pie. So I'm going to click on that. And then, you know, I click on that full-size image, and that's pretty small. I mean, that's okay for the web, but if I wanted to print it, that wouldn't be big enough, would it? So I'm going to hit back and hit back. And now in my images, I'm going to go down here and say, only show me large images of apple pie. And when I say large, you'll notice that it's the same picture, but look at the 2148 by, wow, that's big. That's huge. When I say full-size image, it's that big. So in images, I can filter it and say, only give me large things. And actually, this is really large. So it's taking a lot of bandwidth. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to show you one other thing. I'm going to say any size again, because that was a big file to work with. But the other thing is, look at what else I have down here. Photos, which is what most of these are. But I can go get apple pie clip art. I now have the world's largest clip art collection. But what I'll warn you is, if you look at a clip art like this one, see this coolclips.com, that's a watermark over the clip art. So that's one you don't want to use because it looks ugly and they know you stole it from clip art, coolclips.com. There's plenty of others out there that don't have watermarks on them. So go ahead and use those, and if you're using it for non-commercial purposes, use the heck out of it. Use them all you want. So now, clip art, and then there's also line drawings, which would be, line drawings and clip art blow up really easy. They're vector-based art, so they really expand really well. But let's go back to our any type. And even though it's small, we kind of like this one because it's real colorful. So I'm going to hit full-size image. Now, great, Ken. I got this clip art. What am I going to do with it? Secondary click, which is control-click, two-finger click, or right-click on your mouse, over the image, brings up this contextual menu. I can save image to downloads. I don't care about that. I can add that image to my iPhoto library so I could use it later. God, don't unplug. I can, if I'm going to use it later. If I'm just going to use it right now for something like in a Pages document in Mail, I just click Copy Image, so it's on my clipboard. Any image, any picture on the web, we go to apple.com, not applepie.com. We can take an image like this. Copy link, open image, save image, copy image, etc. Anytime you have an image, okay? Oh, by the way, who here is looking for a new MacBook Pro 13-inch? $200 off at Fry's till next Thursday. It's normally $11.99. They've got them on sale for $9.99. And it's the brand new one that just got introduced with USB 3. Couldn't believe it. They never discount Mac stuff like that. Huh? Any new ones come with Lion. But you'll have a free upgrade to Mountain Lion. But Mountain Lion's only going to be $19.99 as an upgrade anyway. So Mountain Lion's not out yet, so it can't ship with it. But yeah.
That's what you're saying?
$11.99 down $200 off. Apple stuff's never $200 off. I mean, that's the one that was introduced like 2 weeks ago
This is from
at Fry's.
Friday, not this part.
Nope, they might match it. You could try. Take the Fry's ad from yesterday's paper in there. Anyway, that's my little
When you click on this image, you
control click. Control click or right click or secondary click, which is 2-finger on your trackpad. That's a good question. So she asked, how did I do that? All right. So I've put that on my clipboard for now. I'm going back to CNN.com. Now, we're going to talk about how you can send somebody an email to get to this website. So, give me an idea how you do it now. Anybody?
Copy the link,
Copy the URL by going up here. You know, most of you click here and drag like this. Remember, when we click the favicon, it highlights the whole thing, and we can copy and paste it that way. But Safari makes it easy for you. Safari says, mail link to this page. Okay? Boom. It's firing up my mail automatically. And look at that. There's an email that started with that link embedded in it. So now you can email that to somebody. So let's say, we'll close that for a second. And let's say this was an article. Well, let's say it's Serena Williams. Let's say you're sending this to a Serena Williams fan. And you say, wow, isn't that fantastic? And you send this link to CNN.com. Well, let's say that person's away for a couple days, and they come back and they check their mail, and you say, wow, isn't this fantastic? And they click on the CNN link, and the new CNN headline is, mass murderer kills 300 people. Wow, isn't that fantastic? He only stopped at 300, I guess, you know? So there's a little misinterpretation there. So by sending that link, you haven't frozen it in time because CNN's front page constantly changes. So I'll show you a way to... Now, there's 2 ways to accomplish what you were trying to accomplish and not get in trouble and lose friends. If we click on the Serena Williams article, you'll notice the URL or the website location is much more than just CNN.com. So now if I mail this link, that's fine. It's a link right to that article, and it's fantastic. But another way to do it, which is really nice, is we'll go back to the main CNN page, and up when I go to File, it says Mail Contents of this page. It's slightly larger, but not very big. So when I click that, it magically fires up mail again. And now look at this. In my mail is embedded that page. Take that, Firefox. Now, the beauty of this is you've frozen that CNN website in time, and you can say, isn't this fantastic, to the Serena Williams fan, and not think that you're a mass murderer. The best part is all the links on this page are clickable. So they can still click on the Serena one, or if they see that fire and they want to click on the fire, when they get the email, they can click on that and it'll take them to the web pages. So the 2 differences are mail link to this page. Be careful. Usually it'll work fine. Mail contents to this page. Takes a snapshot as it is right now. It emails it to them. It's not a very big page, and they're all clickable. Alfredo, you had a question. How big the page was, I'll bet? Yeah.
Could you save that reading to my reading list, that article of her, and email from there?
Well, so the question is, could we save this to the reading list and email the article from there? If you save CNN to your reading list, it's still just CNN and it'll change. But when we clicked on the article and you save it to your reading list, you won't mail it from your reading list. What you go is go to your reading list, you click on it, the article comes up, and then you'll mail it from there. So it's essentially the same thing, but you can't mail it directly. But again, remember, like the MacNexus website doesn't change that often, so that's pretty safe to do, and we don't have reports about serial killers on there usually. So, and we had the coroner speak at the one meeting, but that's a little different situation. So anyway, just it's a little bit of a cautionary tale, but also a way to kind of do that. So we said mail this link, mail the contents, and like magic, mail fired up. And that's our next subject. Before I embark on mail, do we have any Safari questions that you risk asking? Go ahead, Carl.
How do you save your bookmarks on an iPad?
There's a plus sign.
Plus sign,
Yep, yep. You know, and actually, when we go back to Safari, one last thing is, let's go to print, because print's a big deal. How many of you, all of a sudden, you want one page and it prints out 12? Well, Pete's the one that works for HP, not me, so I don't make any more money if you have to buy a bunch of ink. I'm all for using less ink, and I'm a cheap bastard, so I use very little ink. Let's say I want to print this page. Remember, we wanted to, if it comes up and says a small screen like this, in Snow Leopard and Leopard, you hit the triangle to make it bigger or hit Show Details. Now what I can do is, you'll notice I have a preview of the page, page 1. Page 2, does that do me any good? No. Is page 3 worth anything? So I can go up here and say only pages so-and-so to so-and-so. But you just want to save this page not as a bookmark, you want a shot of what it is. Everywhere on the Mac you have a print screen, you have PDF. Open PDF in preview. Save it as a PDF. You're at Amazon and you make this order and you know they're going to send you an email, but gosh, what if they don't this one time and I don't have it? You can print your page with your, I do this when I see a screen where there's a price that might be in question, or if it's a rebate. I say save as PDF. I don't print it because I'll lose it. I save it as a PDF. I can use my search command to go find wherever it is, and then if I ever need to print it, I can print it from there. So save as PDF, but here more than anything, instead of seeing all 3 pages of this stuff, I can say just print 1, and that's the page. Okay?
I missed how to create a reading list. Is that just a
It's when you hit the plus, your reading list is already there,
okay.
but then what you do to add to your reading list, instead of adding it as a bookmark or anything, you say add to reading list here. Okay? And I think, yeah, there's not a direct link to it. And reading list is really cool once you use it. And remember reader. Reader was the other thing too that's really cool too. All right. So mail. All right. I need show of hands on, and it's okay, you can answer more than once. Who here uses AT&T SBC at yahoo.net? Okay. Everybody else look at them and feel sorry for them. Yahoo's been, I'm sure, who here has not gotten the message where it keeps asking you for your password? Okay? Where the Yahoo one, it keeps saying, what's your Yahoo password? You guys have all got, anybody hasn't had that? Wow, okay, well, their servers are MIA many times. So, but is there anybody here that's using Yahoo, that's using Yahoo by your choice, not because you're with AT&T SBC? Yeah? Yahoo?
I didn't know anybody was using that.
Yeah. Well, he's a Yahoo. I'll badmouth Yahoo because the majority of the calls I get, you know, I volunteer for MacNexus, and when people are having problems, I'm the one that gets the calls a lot. Please, we have male people for that. Anyway. Yahoo's been the biggest one with the servers are down, then they say, well, you got to change your password, then you change your password, you got to change it on all your devices. Usually it's just not making a connection. But I will say, and I'm going to talk about IMAP and POP here in a little bit, Yahoo has stepped up the plate and they finally started offering IMAP, which will be clear here in a second. So next to that, who is using Comcast as their email? Okay, I got no issues with that. I have a little I'll tell everybody in a sec. SureWest. Those of you on SureWest that have multiple devices, SureWest has recently rolled out what's called IMAP that allows you to check it on multiple devices and show it. I'll show you that in a second. AT&T, SureWest. Did I miss any that are, well, me.com?
Wave,
Huh?
wave,
Gmail? Wave? Okay, Wave. Gmail?
Mail.com.
Hotmail?
Mail.com.
Mail.com? Okay, all right. I encourage anyone that is using Comcast, SureWest, AT&T, SBC, Yahoo, Wave, any email address that is tied to your internet provider, don't end it, but start using an alternate. And the reason for that is many, but SureWest was purchased recently by another company. And what if that new company comes and says, we like our name better than SureWest. You're going to have to change to Bob and Jen at we have the best name in the world.com instead of SureWest.net. What if Bob and Joe's Internet comes along and offers you 3 times the speed for 1/3 of the price? It'd be nice to be able to jump over to them, right? If your email address is not tied to your internet provider, you're completely portable. That's nice. We have it with our phones now. You have number portability. You can change your cell phone or your home phone to different carriers. That's number portability. In the old days, you really couldn't do that. That's the same reason people stayed with AOL for so long, because they'd had the email for so long, they don't want to give it up. They make it so you can do it for free now anyway. But here's the deal. Start using another email address as your main one that's a Gmail. Me.com is free from Apple. It's an iCloud email. It's very good. If you have to use Yahoo, you can use a straight Yahoo, not that one there. Don't use Hotmail because they'll think you. Yeah. And believe it or not, AOL has pretty decent email again now too. Or use your MacNexus. But in MacNexus, we're starting to come off because of the way the servers are. We're going to start doing what's called email forwarding. So you'll have to have a secondary account for us to email it to. It could be a Comcast or a SureWest. But again, a little quick thing. When I first started on the internet, I lived on a place down by Chevy's on the river called Swallow's Nest. And I had dial-up internet because that's about all anybody had. And on a good day, I could get 27K on my internet. And you talk about opening tabs. Well, I would open a bunch of tabs because I'd be reading the first one while I'm letting the others load in the background, and I'd have to slow my reading down so I could go to the next tab because it took so long for me to do it. Well, Comcast came, and that was my savior, so I was able to, when they first rolled out their internet, and they rolled it out, and instead of being Comcast, their email was handled by a company called At Home. @home. So they said, okay, use At Home as your email address. I used At Home for a while. And then they decided to change. At Home got bought by Excite. So now it's at excite.com. Everybody had to change their email address. In the meantime, I went and purchased kenspencer.com. So luckily, my email address was ken@kenspencer.com. So I just had to do some behind-the-scenes things, but I didn't have to change my email. The typical Comcast provider, or the typical Comcast person back then, started out as At Home. They went to Excite. They went to Comcast for a short time, and then Comcast said, well, we're going to let AT&T, because AT&T didn't really have much broadband at the time. ATTBI, anybody remember that? It changed to ATT Broadband Internet, ATTBI.com, and then it came back to Comcast. So if I had not had kenspencer.com, I would have had to change my email address 5 times. Now, it's stupid because on their end, they could have handled all of that, but they don't. They made the customers change their email address 5 times. I made sure that I was never a slave to that. And then I ended up getting a free email address or something too, because back then you didn't have Gmail. There was like Hotmail and maybe Yahoo, but you always had really small boxes in those because they were free. But now you got Gmail and stuff. Use Gmail. It's wonderful. Use me.com. It's iCloud. It's from Apple. It's free. All right. Enough of the rant. Sorry. Is that clear about how you shouldn't be tied to your internet provider because it can do nothing good for you and it could hamstring you? What happens if you live somewhere and you're on Sure West and you have to move where it's only Comcast? You're going to have to change your email. And we know, I mean, emails become, some of it looking like, good, I won't get as much spam, but you also won't get the email that you really want. All right, here's how your mail comes in Lion. Now, how many here are on Lion? How many here are on Mountain Lion? You couldn't say if you were. Lion is how many? Snow Leopard 10.6 and Leopard before that. And Bob, you were OS 9, right? Okay. So in Lion, they changed the look of mail. Who here has used it and likes the new look of mail? Most people don't. But what they're trying to do is make mail look like they're trying to make mail look like it does on the iPad. Come on, little Wi-Fi router. I have a little Jeopardy music song I usually play right now. Anyway, they're trying to make it look like it does on the iPad. Okay? And it's not that they're trying to make everything go that way, but what you have to realize is we have so many new people to Apple that have iPads that were never Mac users. So why make it so they have to learn something new? They make this very similar to what they're doing. But in Lion, they allow us to change the look back to what we're used to if we want. So in Mail, the first thing is show. Everybody wanted their mailboxes here, okay? I can not bring in all that mail. No wonder the router wouldn't work. I should have done a fake mail account. All right. So that looks a little more like usual, but you know what? A lot of people really, really, really want the old look. So Apple, in their wisdom, said, go to Mail, Preferences, Viewing, and watch what happens when I hit Use Classic Layout. Our old mail returns. Or not, or back. That's how tough it is. So I don't want to hear about any complaints about Lion and how mail's different. Many people like the new look. So because a lot of you have Snow Leopard and Leopard, I'm going to stay in the old look for right now because I'm an old guy. So Mail can check many different accounts. Right now, it's just checking my me.com account, and it's bringing in 27,000 messages, which is not as bad as my others, but anyway, I just hate that it's sucking down the internet. Hang on here. I'm going to take the mailbox offline. All right. So email is email is email, but you know what? The beauty of Apple Mail is that it has hooks. We went from Safari to Apple Mail. We can go from iPhoto to make it mail our thing for us. But let's see some of the fun. Well, first of all, you'll notice if you're in Lion, you'll notice this. It's all these. So our eyes pick up colors and shapes like that. So Apple said, let's make all the icons look the same and let's make them all gray. How much sense does that make? So since none of us know what these icons really mean, me included, I command click and say icon and text. Okay? Command click on the gray board. This is how it ships. Give us icon and text. You don't pay extra for all that wording, okay? Apple decided that we're minimalist and we don't want that viewing up there. So that helped a lot. Now when we do a new message, you have to do the same thing. Control click, icon and text. Now, in this mail, I'm going to make it a little smaller so we can zoom it in. I have some neat things over here. You know what? I don't know. Let me add. I got to add our apple pie. We're going to add this to our iPhoto library. Okay, so that little thing from Safari I just added to the iPhoto library so I can quit iPhoto. I just had to have something in my iPhoto library. So across the top on the right, you have a thing called Show Stationery. How cool is this that you can have these different things? Let's go to announcements. Here's this. Look at that. It's already done. I'll zoom out so you can see the whole page better. And all you do is put your own text in. But that doesn't look like my family. So I go up here to Photo Browser and I click on Photo Browser and it fires up. Now again, I am using this is a demo one, so I only have one photo in here. I go in and just would look into my entire iPhoto library, and I simply drag the photo from there over to that, and there's the photo from iPhoto to there. So, reiterating that, let's close this email, and I'm going to hit New Message. That's how we compose a new message. I'm going to hit Show Stationery. Let's go to the party one. So there it is. Happy birthday, Jessica. Well, that looks like Jessica, but if it's coming from me, I mean, it's not me. So I just grab, oh, I'm sorry. We click Photo Browser to bring the Photo Browser up. And then you can go through your whole iPhoto library, just drag that picture right to there, and it's done. I can also do a regular photo. Let's say I had 12 photos in my iPhoto. Come on, take mailbox offline. Sorry. I can just drag the photo right over to here too. And then you'll notice in the bottom, I can adjust the size. Let's say I had 12 photos on here and the email was too large. You never want to send anything over 7 megabytes. So you could adjust the size of the photo, make it smaller. If you had 12 photos, you could then include 12 photos on your mail. Okay? All right. So I'm going to turn Photo Browser off. Now, the To section. If you start typing a name, see, this is bad because I don't have, I think I have Apple in my, gosh. All right, let me add test, and test has an email of 123@me.com. Okay, so now I have an email address in here. So now I type test, and you see it auto-fills. I just start typing the person's name. Okay? Now, that's good in there. And I'm going to send a mail to Bob, let's say. But I spell it B-I-B instead of Bob, and I hit enter. Go down here. I think I'm going to have to send this to make it happen. So, there we go. CC. Does everybody know? Who knows what CC stands for? Or courtesy copy. I always heard it as carbon copy. In the old days when you used to have carbon copy. So you'd send it to the to the head guy, and you'd also send it to his administrative assistant, which is the one that got everything done. There's another one that doesn't come on by default, and I encourage everyone to use it. And what's that stand for? Correct. So the idea is, how many have you gotten mails, usually from somebody on AOL, that's got 35 addresses on it? Well, what's really funny is when like companies I used to work for, they'd send it out, and I'd see all the other people they're emailing, and I could get all the information I wanted off of that, but it's also rude because I don't want my email out there on all these other addresses. So BCC means if you put 30 names in BCC and you go to send the mail, if I send it to Carl and to John and to Alfreda and to Robert, they only see their own name. They don't see everybody else on BCC. That's why it's blind carbon copying. And that's very courteous to do. Secondly, it looks a little more personal. The only time you wouldn't do it is, let's say I'm telling all of them, hey, we got a potluck coming up. What are you bringing? I would put all their names in the to or the CC so that they had everybody else's email address by clicking on that. That's about the only time you do it. So they could all reply back and then click on somebody else's email. Hey, I'll bring baked beans if you bring barbecue ribs, something like that.
Did you get that BCC?
It's right here in this little pull down right here. And once you've activated it, it'll always be active. It comes shipped like this. So I click here and say activate BCC. Okay? And then the next field is the subject. It's pretty good to put subject in here because it gives you a really good reference point later. You can make it be appropriate or not appropriate, but it really does help. Now, across the top here, format would be the way to format the text, which we could spend hours on, but we'll just do. Oh, by the way, you notice how I'm typing and I'm really slow and I use typos a lot? In Mountain Lion, you'll be able to dictate to your computer.
Really?
If I install it, it will. No. Yes, really.
Just like the iPad.
Just like Siri does, yes. It will only do the dictation part of Siri, not the artificial intelligence. At the very end, we're going to do a little Siri demo. All good men. Okay. So I'm gonna misspell something. Oh God, spell's in my dictionary now because I've done this so many times. Forget that. All right. So now I can highlight this and I can go up to format and I get my little text thing here on like making fonts different colors. Don't use light colors. I can bold it, do different things like that. That just opens and closes that little format bar, okay? Now, how do I attach files to send it to people? I click attach and I navigate to where on my computer it would be. I don't think, yeah, iChat icons, that's the placeholder. See, I don't have much in here, but we'll just go to desktop. Here's the website. So I could just take this thing and attach that, choose file. I can also go to my Finder and drag a file to there, okay? There, that's an attached file. It's a teeny little image, so you can't really see that's what that box is. So you can drag it to there, or you can do it now. If you'll notice in the bottom here, it still says what our message size is. You don't want that to exceed 7 megabytes. All right, so I'll put in test message. No, that's only there because I have a photo in it. When you put the photo in, it comes up. Or if you attach a file, it'll show you the size of the file. Very good point. His thing is that you don't see message size at the bottom. I don't think there's a way to turn it on anyway because, to be honest, text is so small. It would be you could write War and Peace and it wouldn't exceed 7 megabytes, unless you had a bunch of pictures. So, all right. So I'm going to hit send. It's not going to send because I have my mailboxes offline, I think, and I sent it to a bogus email address. So I'm going to hit new message. And remember, I misspelled bib, okay? But now I start to type B again, and it brings up bib instead of Bob. So he's a previous recipient, and you've all had this. You've sent the mail wrong to a wrong address at one time, and now it always shows up. There's 2 ways to get rid of that, and this is worth the price of admission today. So first, I just typed the wrong one, BI, and then I hit enter or return on my keyboard to make it in. Okay, now it's in my mail. And I go hover over it. See how when I hover over it becomes a white pull down? And I say remove from previous recipients list. I won't do it right now because I want to show you another place where you can do that. Thanks to my last class, somebody showed me. Up or under window, previous recipients list, and there it is. I can remove him from the list. And now, when I delete this, and now I type BI, there's no BIB show up. Okay? So that gets rid of the ones. Now, if bib@me.com was in my address book, I couldn't get rid of it that way because he's in my address book. So you'd have to remove the wrong one from your address book. Okay? There was a question back there?
If you had an address in your address book and you moved it from your address book, because the address changed, is that also?
If you remove it from your address book, it may or may not autofill. And if it does, once you've removed it, then you can delete it from previous recipients. Because previous recipients list is populated 2 ways. If you send a mail or receive a mail. And think about that for a second. There's a real beauty in that previous recipients list is because you don't have to add everybody to your address list. And instead of how many times do you go back through your mail and go find where was that mail from Bob so I can hit reply and you're not even replying to what the message was about. If you just start typing Bob or Mary or Sam or whatever, it'll fill it in from the previous recipients. You had a follow-up on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
But those in the recipient's list doesn't also go on your address book, or are they the same thing?
No, okay, so that's a good point here. So here, let's go in and I've got, let's say, see, I'm getting mail from somebody else being forwarded to my Gmail that's forwarded to my me.com. Anyway, so let's say I go here to 1 sale a day. And I see this message here, it's from them. I can go right here and click on the white arrow and say add to address book. So I don't even have to fill it in. I'll add them to my address book. And we'll go here, this is Lowe's Home Improvement. Now I'm going to go up here and I go up to message and say add sender to address book. You don't have to enter anything. It does it for you. And now if I go to address book, you'll see I've added Lowe's and 1 sale a day are now in my address book. Okay? So you don't have to type it in. I want to show you, and I don't know if I'll be able to because of this stupid connection. Go ahead, Royce.
So, going back to removing those, let's say Jane Doe was at Comstock.net, but then she changed it to Jane Doe at Global dot wherever. But when you put in Jane, both of them will come up. So what I do is I go down, if I understand it, go down to the old one, double click it,
No.
click it, and then it's
So-
removed from the list.
Yeah, but if they're still in your address book, you can't remove them from the list. So if I want 1 sale a day, or what was
No, I
that?
put in the new address in my address.
In your address book.
Yes.
So you'll usually not put her email address, you usually use her first name.
But both of them come up because we've written to them.
Okay, so if it's removed from your address book, you have to select the wrong one in mail and then remove, or go to recipients list and remove it there. But what happens also is, let's say you've got 3 Bobs in your address book, and you send to one a lot and the other one's not too many. The one you send a lot to is on the bottom in the beginning. The more frequency you use that one, it will go to the top and be the default one. So it, believe it or not, it goes in and says, oh, you've been using this one a lot. Let's move it to your first choice. Yes?
Yeah, quick question, going back to your one on Safari where you were mailing a page or a link. Mine goes over to a Gmail account, and that's not my primary account. I don't want it to go to that.
Oh, wait. Go back to that. What now?
Okay, you want to mail a link or a page to somebody.
Yeah.
So with Safari, do whatever you do.
It goes to mail.
And when I do it, it insists on going to Gmail account, and
That's your primary email account.
how would it become my
Okay, so here's a good question. So many people have multiple email addresses.
How do I change that?
Actually, let's go to
So
mine.
that's not the one I want to do.
Let's log into mine. This